Here comes Daddy with all the food. His daughter's graduating today.
You betcha. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, we talked to him. I told him.
I shook his hand.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Check your cell phones to ensure they're set to silent, turned off during today's ceremony. I extend my congratulations to the graduating seniors and to your families. We are all aware of the joint efforts and steps which have been taken by all to get you to this point today. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge our senior members of the Dr. G.A. Zerfus National Honor Society. They are wearing the official white satin pennants. They have earned this honor by exemplifying leadership through holding offices and participating in numerous extracurricular activities, scholarship by maintaining a 3.5 or higher GPA, character by modeling positive behaviors and citizenship, and service by logging at least 40 hours of community volunteer work. Would the 2018 senior members of the Ellis High School National Honor Society stand? Please join me in recognizing our National Honor Society members. Please note the orange insert in this year's graduation program. The class of 2018 has received over, I'm going to say this very clearly, over $1 million in scholarships to help them as they continue on with their education. We want to congratulate them on this accomplishment and also send thanks to all the businesses, groups, and individuals who financially support these scholarships. Please give our students and supporters a round of applause. I would like to recognize and send thanks to the following people joining us today. Please hold your response until the end. Robert Young, Superintendent of Schools. Mike Keller, Board President. Other board members, Melanie Fisher, Glenn Vonnoble, Mike Gashler, Dean Gottschalk, Jared Shield, and Rob Sonson. Ken Rogers, the 110th House Representative of the state of Kansas. Our senior sponsor and graduate escort, Jeff Cole. Graduation escort and high school secretary, Maria Mick. Randy Hunterman, Leonard LaBarge, Craig Amrine, and Chandler Doe for their work in preparing all the different aspects of today's special ceremony. Please give this group a round of applause. Finally, I want to thank a very important group of people with us today. Would the parents of today's graduates please stand? Thank you. Please stand. Thank you for the support and guidance. I want to say thank you for the support and guidance you provided our seniors for the past 18 years. Without your support, these students would not be who they are today. Thank you.
It gives me great pleasure to introduce this year's co-valedictorians. They truly have taken advantage of the opportunities provided during their 4 years at Ellis High School, thus earning their shared academic positions at the top of their class. This type of academic achievement demands dedication, consistency, and sacrifice. Achieving recognition of this nature takes the support of family and the individual desire to do the best a person can possibly do in all that he or she undertakes. It gives me great pleasure to introduce this year's co-valedictorians. Valedictorian Abby Burton, daughter of Corey and Amy Burton. Valedictorian Emily Cranwell, daughter of Clyde and Kristen Cranwell. Valedictorian Samantha Crawford, daughter of George Crawford and Kimberly Andrews. Valedictorian Joseph Eck, son of Mark and Sarah Eck. Valedictorian Kaylin Foster, daughter of Dawn Kennerconnect. Valedictorian Mackenzie Jones. Jones and Valerie Dallas. Valedictorian Jalen Piper, daughter of Sheldon and April Piper. Valedictorian Natalie Schoenberger, daughter of Dave and Audrey Schoenberger. valedictorian Dawson Sproul, son of Chad and Jennifer Sproul.
I think it's okay for me to say I'm a little scared, but I was so honored that when I was invited to come up and speak, I couldn't say no. So here we go. Oh, happy day. What a happy day is today. What a glorious, fantastic, and exceptional day today. Congratulations, graduates of 2018. Today represents a culmination of 13 years of education and the beginning of a terrific adventure for your future. However, today is not just about you. There are many people who gave to your education. It took a village of people to contribute to your arrival on this glorious, fantastic, and exceptional day. Think about all the supportive roles that people took to get you here. How many times did Maria fix a problem? Make the phone call, yeah? How many times did Donna put in a Band-Aid on the imaginary cut? Okay. Think about Randy and Leonard and how they gave you extra food at lunch. Yes. Or Steve, who loosened the mouthpiece for the band director who couldn't get it out. All of these people contributed to this day and to this moment. There are many more people to recognize: your teachers, paraprofessionals, administrators, board members. They also contribute to this fantastic day. As much as today is about you, it's also about your family and your parents and your guardians. They get to celebrate with you. They packed lunches, organized backpacks, sponsored trips, sat in the stands, attended plays and concerts, and they gave you money. And they gave you money. And they gave you money. And did I mention they gave you money? So, Mr. Burton recognized you, but I also want to send a nod in your direction. Thank you for supporting these kids and getting them through their education as well. So, hats off to you, parents and guardians. The first graduation I attended here in Ellis was 6 years ago. I remember sitting next to the band and thinking, and Mr. Coleman was the speaker. Some of you guys remember Mr. Coleman? He was dearly loved and appreciated by the student body. And I thought, what made him special enough for those kids to invite him to be their speaker? And then I thought a little more, it had to be connections. Mr. Coleman had spent his time and energy connecting with the student body. So I thought to myself, what would make these kids want me to come back? I know it's not because they wanted me to lecture about key signature, or the fact that the low folks can't play A flat, or the cock choir can't sing the word you. It's chew. They always were singing chew. It's you, people, it's you, okay? And then I thought, okay, at some point along the way, I made connections. And because every single one of you, with the exception of one student, passed through the junior high choir, it had to be the 8th grade choir year. So here I am, once again, connecting with you in front of all these people on this glorious day. Seniors, take the time to go beyond a name and connect with as many people as you can. Those connections may assist you in your future. So when I came, you were 7th graders. You weren't just any 7th graders, you were my first 7th graders. I think it's fair to say the music program was in a disaster. I was looking for a professional challenge. Wow, did I ever get it. I remember back to the first football game, and I was sick. I had called in to work, and I thought, what a blessing that is that we don't have to play because we weren't ready. So a week passes, another football game. If you remember, we had 4 songs ready. We had 4. Plus a drum cadence. And oh, by the way, Dawson is responsible for naming many of our drum cadences at the time. They were named after breakfast food. The one drum cadence that will probably live forever is donut. So halftime approaches, and I'm thinking, how am I going to make it through halftime? With 4 songs, one of which was the national anthem. Okay? So we played the fight song, and I kind of looked around. You guys all started talking, and I let you talk. Okay, here we go, horns up, donut, here we go, play donut, okay. I let him talk again, okay. Then it came to the ultimate tune, wait for it, Cold-Hearted, yeah. And then it was the fight song again, and donut again, and Cold-Hearted again, and the next thing I know, we had made it through. We had made it work with what we had. It was great. The crowd could actually recognize the national anthem and the fight song. We had arrived. We had come together as a team, made it work with what we had. There's going to be times in your life where you may not have everything that you need to get the job done. You will find a way to do what you can with what you've been given. Find something in life to be passionate about. For me, it's teaching band. There's nothing better than the first day of beginning band. I know you guys might think I'm 30 cents short of a quarter, but there is nothing better than the first day of beginning band. Kids come in, they're so excited, and all they want to do is play. There's also other moments that I remember. I loved feeling the stands with the band and knowing that on a Friday night, the crowd would open up their window to hear our drums play. I loved seeing the stands filled at a basketball game. Then one day, Haley comes into band and told me the other teams don't like playing in our gym because the pep band is so loud. I loved that too. Find something that you love. It could be baking cakes, litigating cases, creating a family, or a hard day's work on the farm. Find something to be passionate about, and you will never work another day in your life. Recognize great moments in everyday life. I remember the best moments were in the band room. I know many people think the greatest moments were on stage, but really the best moments were in the band room. Sometimes, when the stars would align, the heavens would part, the angels sang, we had some really awesome musical moments. I remember one day, I cut off after playing Among the Clouds, and there was silence, which didn't happen in the band room very much. I just want to let you guys know that. There was silence, and it was the breathtaking kind of silence. Natalie pipes up and says, "Does anybody else have goosebumps?" That's an example of a great moment in everyday life. Don't let them pass you by. Recognize and celebrate them. So in the spring, we would get ready for competition. We would spend months preparing 2 songs to go before 3 people and hope that in that block of time they would see our ability. As I was told last night, many of you were afraid to play wrong when I was there. So those people would render their rating, and before we would go to that performance area, we'd go to the warm-up room. I always tried to have some inspirational speech in mind to get everybody focused. In my mind, the Rocky theme was playing, dun 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 dun, and I would say, persevere, be passionate, create awesome moments. So as you sit here today, you are in the warm-up room of life. It's your path for you to create. So wait, listen. Do you hear the Rocky theme now? Thank you for inviting me. Best wishes, amen. Class of 2018.
Good afternoon. My name is Haley Ryder. As young adults, we are faced with the challenge of figuring out our futures. For some of us, that means pursuing a higher education. In others, that means entering the workforce. Either way, we're the future leaders of our families, communities, and nation. Today, I am honored to be able to introduce our second guest speaker, Kansas Senator Jerry Moran. Senator Moran has been able to experience growing up in Western Kansas firsthand. He has used his background to help him pursue his passions and set out to make a change for the better. It is now my pleasure to pass the podium off to our second speaker, Senator Jerry Moran.
Haley, thank you so very much. And thank you all for being here to honor these graduates as they graduate from Ellis High School. I appreciate the honor. Rob is with me today. I appreciate the honor for both of us to be here in Ellis High School and back home in Ellis County and home in Western Kansas. I was listening to the song you just sang, and the theme for me was one of the lines you kept repeating. Children get older, and I'm getting older too. It's made a lot of sense to me. And you're at a disadvantage. I guess I'm speaking to the graduates in the audience. The first time as a new member of Congress I ever gave a graduation speech, it was in a gymnasium about like this, except the temperature outside was about 104 and inside the gym was about 112. And I'd never given a graduation speech before, but I knew that everyone had said, don't talk very long, be brief. And so I made perhaps the mistake of telling the audience, the more programs that I see that become fans, the briefer I will be. And everyone in the audience started fanning. Here's your chance. Unfortunately for you, the weather is such today that there's actually a pretty good temperature inside the gymnasium at Ellis High School. Haley, I again want to thank you for inviting me to be here, and I'm honored to be here with you and your classmates. Principal Burton, honored to be here with you and your students. To the Superintendent of the Board of Education, thank you for your commitment to these students and this community and to its future. To Ken Rogers and his work in the state legislature, thank you for your interest in education. There is no more important function that we have in certainly state government than making sure that education we well prepare our students across Kansas. And Ms. Williams, it's an honor to follow you. I'm of the view that we change the world one soul, one person at a time, and it happens in classrooms every day in schools across Kansas. And for you to come back and deliver your message and reminisce with your students, but also inspire them by your remarks. I'm delighted to be here with you and share the podium on this day. It's good to return to Ellis High School. Return, I can talk about playing basketball in your old gymnasium as a student down the road, but I was here in Ellis High School in April to visit with students and teachers. It turned out to be the day they were preparing for prom that night, and I was impressed by the conversations I had with these seniors and to hear what next they were going to pursue in their lives. I'm not certain, Haley, why I was invited to address the graduates today, but what I am certain is that if you ask any of your classmates, who is the most influential person in your life, not one of them would say, my United States Senator. Most likely they would say their moms and dads. And being a parent is not easy. It requires some sacrifice and some hard work, but parenting is also filled with many joys and special occasions like the one we are experiencing today. As your sons and daughters enter new chapters of their lives, you can take satisfaction in knowing that you played a huge role in their accomplishments. The hours you spent reading as children to them, cheering them on from the stands, in the auditorium seats, or trying to remember your their algebra so you could help them with their homework. All of that was valuable to them in becoming who they are today and being here to graduate. I also want to again, as I did with Ms. Williams, thank the faculty and staff. There is no more important, no nobler profession than teaching. Educators have changed our lives. Educators who taught us not only to understand the facts and figures, but to instill in us a lifelong interest in learning and to have an appreciation for the world outside the city limits of your hometown of Ellis or mine of Plainville. Ellis is fortunate to have excellent educators who work hard to prepare their students, and I again want to make sure they know how appreciated they are, and I commend them for their decision to devote their lives to making a difference in these young men and women. And now to the graduates. You've worked hard for this day, although everything that I've seen of you is that you've had a lot of fun along the way. I heard it when I visited with you. I heard it in your response to Ms. Williams' comments. Today does begin the opening of a new chapter in your lives. This fall, many of you will leave your families and community behind. You'll start college. Some of you will pursue education at a technical school. Others will enter the workforce, maybe some to the military. But I have no doubt that EHS has prepared you well for whatever is next. But I want to highlight something else that has helped prepare you for what is next, and in fact has helped prepare you for your life. That is growing up in this community, growing up in Ellis, Kansas. Life in this community has a lot to do with who you are and what you will become. I understand what it's like to live in a small rural community. As I said, I grew up in a community down the road, Plainville. It's a community, in my view, you may not want to be compared to Plainville, but our communities have a lot in common. They're a lot alike. And it's a place where faith in God and the importance of church is taught and lived. Towns like ours, folks know their neighbors and they look after them. The community supports the school. People who are cheering you on, people who are here today, may not be your parents, may not be your grandparents, may just be people in this community who have no students in school any longer. But communities like ours understand the importance of education, and we rally for our students. We want them to learn a lot and to be successful. Much of what I know about people, I learned in my life working in a hardware store in Plainville and throwing my papers along my paper route. Communities like ours allow people to get to know us, get to know you, and we get to know them. One of the things about rural communities that I think is special is there's not a lot of divide between generations. There's so few of us that we socialize with people our parents' age and people our grandparents' age. We don't have a lot of distinction about people who have money. Not many people have a lot of money. We don't have a lot of distinction, class distinction about who we are or what our wealth is. We're a community. What I learned from growing up in my hometown and what I hope you have learned in growing up in yours is that there is good in every person. I learned that each family's joys and sorrows are increased and diminished when they're shared with their neighbors and friends. I learned what it means to put other people first. As people who live in a small community, we find that we have responsibilities beyond just ourselves. When I was here in April, I asked these students about their school and about their life in Ellis. I heard compliments. No one was decrying the fact that they lived and grew up and were now graduating from Ellis High School. I was told about long-term friendships and pride in the hometown. Some students told me that, yes, they intended, were anxious to leave our part of Kansas, but if you ask them a little bit Further in that question, they also said that they thought that they might someday be anxious to return home, to raise their families here. There's nothing wrong with seeing the rest of the world, but there's nothing wrong with knowing that where you come from may be the place to live and to find your success. Weekly, I'm in Washington, D.C., a place that is very, very different than here. And every week, I'm reminded about what's good in America, and I want to live my life in Kansas. It's why my family and I have made the decision and continue to return home every weekend. The point is, it's not necessary to live in a big city to enjoy life or to be a success. You should be proud of where you come from and comfortable in calling Ellis home wherever life takes you. Graduates, as you get ready for this next step, I want to visit with you just for a few minutes, I guess because graduation speeches are supposed to provide instruction for the rest of your life. I timed my remarks. I've been ad-libbing a bit here, so they might be a minute longer, but we should be done in less than 8 minutes. And that includes the part I've already said. Everyone here, this entire audience, this entire community, all of us want you to be a success. I want you to be a success, but maybe not in the way the world defines success. I've seen lots of people in my time who would be defined by the world as successes. It's not the way I would define their lives. In my view, success, true success, is not marked by your achievements. It's not what goes on a business card, not a label, not a profession, but it's the kind of person that you are. I challenge you to really 3 things. Become a person of character who pursues excellence and puts other people first. If you do that, I think it's true that you will be a success. So first, commit yourself to being a person of character. Your character is shaped by your principles, the ones that you choose, the ones that you will follow, and that will stay with you for the rest of your life. I was fortunate to be raised by parents who loved me and parents who taught me the value of honesty, the importance of personal responsibility, and the necessity of integrity. There may be some in the audience, I just thought of this, there may be some in the audience who thought you must have chosen the wrong profession. Unfortunately, the right thing to do, and there is a difference between right and wrong, and sometimes it's blurry. But there are things that are absolutely right and things that are absolutely wrong, and it's not always easy to know exactly what they are. And you will be faced with many difficult choices in your life, and many of those choices will test you. They'll test your character. But if we're able to live meaningful lives, lives that have meaning, and have any hope of addressing all the challenges that we face in our country, we must remember that there is a difference between right and wrong, and we choose right. Secondly, commit yourself to pursuing excellence. I'm impressed by these students. I've seen the achievements that are recognized here today. But in whatever you do, big things, little things, do it well. There's a difference between excellence and perfection. A difference between excellence and perfection. Things don't always turn out to be perfect, and that's fine, that's okay. Perfection has to do with the end product. Was it perfect in the end? That doesn't happen very often. But excellence has to do with the process you go getting there. Becoming a person of excellence means that in every circumstance you use the most of your God-given talents and abilities. No matter how small you think the task might be, I encourage you to do your best. By doing so, you will earn respect, including your self-respect, respect of yourself, and more opportunities will come your way. And finally commit yourself to serving other people. I'm convinced that success in life is not measured by what material things we get out of life, but what we give back. And we learn that in places like Ellis. We learn that in places like Ellis High School. You know, we're often told our country needs great leaders, but I believe what we really need are great servants. People who put other people first. 2 years ago, there was a call to make America great again. However, while what happens in Washington, D.C. is important, it's my view that our nation will not be great as the result of any election, but it will be better, closer to being great, if we begin to live our lives different than we have been living them. The changes we desire in our country and our nation come in large part by changing ourselves. I have hope for the future for our country. And it's not so much of what goes on, it's not much because of what goes on in Washington, D.C., in our nation's capital, but because what goes on here in the middle of America. What goes on in places just like this and is happening today. When I return to Washington, D.C., I'm home for the weekend. When I return to Washington, D.C., Sunday night or Monday morning, I'll go back there with hope because I know just a little bit about you and what you've done to date and what I know you can do in the future. Our country will be better because of you. Graduates in life, each of us has a higher calling. Not just to make a dollar, but to make a difference. Not just to find happiness, but to have a purpose. No job, regardless of the salary or the perks, will take the place of a life committed to a purpose greater than you. Tony Snow was a White House press secretary and he died of cancer, but shortly before he died, he spoke at graduation and he said this: to love is to love is to acknowledge that life is not about you. So while it might be easier to come say all the great things you're going to do or can do, what I hope I'm saying is that the way you live your life that determines whether or not you're successful has a lot to do with how you live your life, not what the world sees as your achievements. Success is not marked by your achievements, but by the kind of person you'll become. I challenge you to become a person of character who pursues excellence and puts other people first. You know, there was perhaps our most famous Kansan, I would guess our most famous Kansan, grew up in a town down the road, not much larger than yours. President Eisenhower, a century ago, told another gathering of graduates, this is what he said: sooner or later, the day will come when the decisions which control the affairs of your community, your nation, and your world will be made by another generation, yours. The nation's future is what you make it. I have faith in America's young men and women and the future that they will build. So I stand here about another 100 years later saying about the same thing. I stand here with the same amount of optimism that President Eisenhower had then. The world is a wonderful place. It's large, and your moment to step into it is now. Our country does face many challenges, but you're armed with an education and with the character that has been taught to you by your family, your church, and your school. You will have many opportunities, but regardless of where life takes you, please do everything you can to be truly successful. Exhibit character, pursue excellence, serve other people. And oh, by the way, don't forget where you come from. God bless you. I hope you have great lives that might ever be a help to you.
I would like like to direct your attention to the screens and back for this year's multimedia presentation. It was designed by Jeffrey Sonson, presentation and diplomas. Natalie Nicole Schoenberger. Joseph Gregory F. Emily Rose Cranwell. Shelby Nicole Worth. Mackenzie Darren Jones. Kaylin Janae Foster. Samantha Lynn Crawford. Dawson James Sprout. Summon the will and make your dreams come true. Would the graduating class of 2018 please stand? With the authority given to me by the Unified School District number 388 Board of Education, I officially pronounce you Kansas State High School graduates.
Corey can get down there.
Ready?
Probably ought to show Mackenzie that one.
What, honey?
One where his graduation.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, hon.
Yeah, you guys are fine. Let's move it a little faster over here. There it is.
More program? You did? I'm recording. But, oh yeah. But, so, I'm trying to take a video here. They're all getting in their cars. Yeah. Pretty nice. Black. Uh-huh. Yeah.